lot of people really liked my last video where I rated every single district in GTA 5. It also seemed that a lot of people wanted me to make the same video but for GTA 4, so that's what this is. GTA 4 contains 66 unique districts. For the sake of redundancy, I've combined similar ones to get that down to 18. And if you, yes, you, want to see more, like the video and subscribe. Coming in last place, we have Charge Island, which is based on the real-life Randalls and Wards Island, and is basically just a connection point between Algonquin, Bohan, and Dukes. There's a water treatment facility here, as well as a boathouse, but apart from that, there's really not much to do or say. Charge Island is featured in 2 missions in the main story of GTA 4, but that's still not enough to put it up any spots. It's just an extremely boring place. It looks extremely ugly and gray and bland. I mean, it is just a bunch of highway connections. It doesn't have any reason for you to visit at all. Let's be honest, you're not spending more than 30 seconds here if there isn't a mission that forces you to do so, and that's why it comes in at last place. Just beating out Charge Island, we have the FIA, aka the Francis International Airport. Now, if you've seen my districts videos for GTA 5, shameless plug, then you know I'm quite a fan of the Los Santos International Airport, and maybe it's just because of like the online and all the nostalgia and whatnot, but FIA just really does not do it justice at all. I think my biggest problem with it is that unlike the Los Santos Airport, it has a really awkward layout that makes it feel very small. And it's especially disappointing since it's based on obviously the real life John F. Kennedy International Airport, which is not small. The space has just been poorly optimized, and that makes it so you don't believe that it's some giant airport. It feels like a very small place. You also just can't steal the planes like you could in GTA 5, which again, it just takes away from the fun in my opinion. Like, why can't I steal all the planes? I will say, I do like the actual physical design of the airport. It's aesthetically pleasing and vibrant, which is pretty rare in GTA 4, not gonna lie. But it's just not enough to put it any higher, unfortunately. Leaving the FIA, next up we have Colony Island. I know, I'm hating on all the islands right now, but honestly they just kinda stink, man. The real life Colony Island is based off Roosevelt Island, which is a super unique and interesting place, and it just falls completely flat in its GTA 4 counterpart. I understand size limitations definitely play a part, but they really just slapped 4 buildings in a cemetery and thought it's good enough. The biggest disservice, however, is the general aesthetic, as Roosevelt Island in real life, at least from the pictures, actually seems like it's a place that you want to go to. It's vibrant, it's colorful, and in comparison, Colony Island is bland and gray. It's the opposite. It's a place you don't want to go to. The Sky Car is a cool feature, though I will give it that. It's a nice touch by Rockstar and definitely adds some personality to the island. However, it's still just not enough to put it any higher on our list. We make our way north for our next spot, East Bohan, which also comprises of Northern Gardens, Industrial, and Little Bay. I know, this is a controversial take as obviously it represents the Bronx, but realistically, everything cool in Bohan is on the west end, leaving the east side just a bit underwhelming. Apart from weapon spawns, flying rats, and obviously the Claire, there just really isn't anything to do here. It does feel like the little brother of West Bohan. I also know that for some reason a big appeal for specifically like the Northern Gardens are its nice views of the water, the waterfront in general, but it's pretty much like every other shoreline in the game, and there's a lot of shoreline obviously because there's just islands. So I just really don't get that appeal, honestly. It's not that unique in my opinion. Overall, it's just not an appealing place to be, which I get it in a way because it's a more poor, rundown area. But as you'll see later on, there's plenty of places in similar levels of poverty that are a lot more interesting and rank a lot higher on the list. Shout out to the Albanian brothers though, as Little Bay is the Albanian mob hideout in GTA 4. Can we get an Albanian flag in the comments section? We have to go across the whole map for our next location, Tudor, which also features Actor and Normandy. Tudor is a declining industrial town filled with abandoned warehouses and small single-family homes. It's a combination of Elizabeth, New Jersey, and Kearney, New Jersey in real life. Tudor does feature in over 10 missions in the main story of GTA 4. Other notable locations include the diner, pay and spray, an internet cafe, a car wash, and a club. Unlike a lot of the previous locations, honestly there is quite a lot to do in Tudor, but every time I'm driving through, I just really don't like being here. and it sort of emphasizes the worst of GTA 4 graphics in my opinion. Everything just looks bland and blends in together and just not someplace I like driving through. GTA 4 kind of has this problem in general, and it does affect pretty much every single district on the map, but for me it's just something that I really notice a lot more in two-door, and for that reason it can't come in any higher than it does. We head east to our next location, Meadows Park, which also features Meadow Hills, Willis, and Beechwood City. The main attraction is, well, Meadows Park, featuring the monoglobe sculpture. It is based on the real-life Unisphere in Flushing Meadows / Corona Park in real life. Meadows Park is, in a way, an oxymoron, as the north is extremely wealthy, filled with beautiful houses and architecture, and the more south you go, the deeper into the projects you get. It also features a large Jamaican population, so shout out any Jamaicans watching. It does feature in multiple missions throughout the main story, but after you finish the mission, there isn't really a need to go back, honestly, to this side of Dukes in general. The only thing that there really is the car wash, and that obviously doesn't cut it. I mean, that's obviously outside of visiting the monoglobe and the surrounding area, but that's why it comes in pretty low on our list. For our next location, we have to get back on the boat and make our way towards Happiness Island. Okay, I know a lot of people are gonna be upset because the Statue of Liberty deserves to be higher, and you know what I say to those people? No, it does not. Absolutely no, it does not, bro. Come on. The fact that it's even this high is honestly kind of crazy. I mean, it's literally a tiny island that's annoying to get to since you obviously can't drive there. Annoying to traverse because you just have to sprint around. I mean, yeah, you can pick up a moped, but I'm not doing that personally. But it does have a lot of importance when it comes to the story. Obviously, it's the final mission location no matter which ending you choose. And obviously, who can forget the beating heart Easter egg, which wasn't annoying at all to get to, and I totally did not die like 3 times trying to get up here. Happiness Island speaks for itself in terms of its iconicness, obviously. It's a parody of the modern way of life and obviously the Statue of Liberty. But I just can't put it any higher since there's still not much to do here at all, and that's why it just comes in outside of our top 10. Heading back to Dukes for our next district, it's Steinway, which also includes East Island City, Cerveza Heights, and Bobo, aka beneath the off-ramp of the Algonquin Bridge overpass. That is a tongue twister. The area is roughly modeled after the northeastern neighborhoods of Queens, meaning it's a primarily working class area. Even though Steinway is included in many missions throughout the main story in GTA 4, there just isn't really much of a reason to visit after you finish this part of the game. It is laid out nicely, and that makes it pretty fun to drive through. It also doesn't look super bland aesthetically, which is good, but there's just nothing that really shines about this area, and that makes it a little bit boring. It really is just an extremely average in pretty much every way, and that's why it deserves to be in the middle of our rankings. Following Steinway, we head to Algonquin for our next district, Northwood, which also includes East and North Holland. In real life, it represents Harlem and Inwood, so naturally the area is pretty poverty-ridden and deprived. Unlike East Bohan, however, it still carries a lot of personality in its infrastructure and layout, as well as having a better location being on the main island. The area is also featured in many missions in the main story, as well as side missions. It also has other notable locations like the Auto Cowboys, the Internet Cafe, a clothes store, and obviously a safe house being Playboy X's penthouse. I honestly just really like this area. There's plenty to do. Even after finishing the game, I still find myself driving through pretty often. It's just a fun place to drive around, and that's why it comes in as high as it does. We make our way slightly south for our next location, Middle Park, which I'm also including Lancaster and Varsity Heights. Obviously, Middle Park is Rockstar's rendition of Central Park, and they did a pretty solid job for the size limitations. Even though Middle Park itself doesn't physically take up that much space on the map, it was designed in a way that makes it feel like it's bigger than what it actually is. And obviously Middle Park looks extremely nice. It's a fun place to be in, drive around in, and explore. The area surrounding the park itself is extremely wealthy and affluent, being filled with high-rise commercial and residential buildings. With that being said though, the actual park itself is technically the neighborhood with the highest crime rate in the entire map, and becomes a genuinely dangerous area at night. Obviously there's many iconic missions that take place in Middle Park, including Museum Piece and Meltdown. Due to its central location, it's a place that you're constantly passing through and interacting with, as well as hosting the Middle Park East Safe House, which you unlock after completing hostile negotiation. With all that in mind, it's why Middle Park comes in as high as it does. Moving northeast to our next location, it's West Bohan, which includes Fortside, Boulevard, and Chase Point. Representing the south side of the Bronx, it features a lot of diversity among its residents, as well as including suburban, commercial, and industrial areas all within close proximity. South Bohan specifically is maybe the most poverty-stricken area in the whole of GTA 4, but it also serves a lot of nostalgia, obviously, due to Nico's Bohan apartment. You spend time here in the early half of the game and you meet a lot of interesting characters, as well as obviously complete a lot of missions. And maybe that's why I'm so fond of it, even though aesthetically it might not be the most interesting to look at. It obviously also features the garage and Chase Point, where 2 fun missions take place. Gotta give it props for that. Even though there is a lot to like about West Bohan, there still is a general lack of things to do once you move on from that chapter in the game. And it isn't really a place I find myself going to that often. It's kind of out of the way. That is, unless I'm loading into the game and spawning in the safe house here. And that's why it comes in at number 8. Following West Bohan, we make our way to the complete opposite side of the map, Actor Industrial Park, which also includes the Alderney State Correctional Facility. That might come as a shock to some people. Why would an industrial park filled with oil refineries and literally nothing to do whatsoever come in so highly on the list? Well, one, I just like it, obviously. That's the point of the rankings. They're just my opinion. But 2, it's just so visually unique. And I don't mean that in a bad way. This ranking is honestly due to just the raw aesthetics of this place. It looks so gnarly and alien in a way, especially compared to the rest of the map. There's not a place like this at all. Due to its obviously location on the map being at the very bottom of Alderney and only accessible by bridge, it's not a place that you end up going to a lot outside of the main story. So every time you do come back and revisit it, it just feels so weird, but like not in a bad way. I don't even know how to describe it, man. You just drive around here for like 15 minutes, you'll know exactly what I mean. It's extremely unique and again is unlike any other area of the map. On top of this, you can also go to the correctional facility, I guess, because like you can with Nico. Don't know if you really would want to, but you can. And for that reason, it's why it comes in as high as it does. Heading north from Alderney City, we have our next location, West Dyke, which also includes Leftwood. West Dyke is basically an upper class suburbia featuring a lot of really nice single family homes and fancy shopping boutiques. It's also famously featured in one of the most frustrating missions in GTA 4, Out of Commission, where you have to chase down Pegorino. This mission is so bad. I hate this mission so. It does feel very secluded in comparison to the rest of the map. I mean, it is at the very north of Alderney, so that makes sense. But because of that, it's just not a place that I end up going to often at all. So when I do end up going here, it seemingly has more appeal than other locations that I'm constantly driving through. To be fair though, it is included in plenty of missions, I mean especially in the second half of the game, and it does also feature a paint and spray. But the main reason it's up here is because of its nice aesthetics and solid layout, and that's why it breaks into our top 5. Just beating out West Dyke, we have downtown Algonquin, which is comprised of, wait for it, Castle Garden City, Suffolk, Little Italy, Lower Easton, Fish Market North, City Hall, Chinatown, Fish Market South, and the Exchange, and Castle Gardens. Whew. Most of these areas are extremely tiny and literally only take up a block or 2, but they're all worth mentioning as they all come together to form downtown Algonquin. By my count, 16 missions take place here, so it's fair to say that it's a place you're constantly revisiting. Downtown Algonquin serves as the financial and commercial district of Algonquin. It's filled with skyscrapers and high-rises, but also contains gardens and even a helicopter ride by the docks, even though it sucks. There is also a clothing store and a gun store, but apart from that, it's kind of barren. I mean, maybe that's kind of the point, as it is representing the real world, like downtown Manhattan, which is filled with finance bros and other office workers, but for those reasons, it's why it doesn't come in any higher. Just sneaking into our top 3, it's downtown Broker, which includes Rotterdam Hill, East Hook, Outlook, South Slopes, and Schottler. This area is based off downtown Brooklyn, and therefore it's an extremely bustling area of the map. filled with pedestrians, businesses, and housing. The area is primarily lower to middle class. However, it is in the process of gentrification where the industrial zones, specifically of East Hook, are in process of being converted for residential and commercial use. The area is featured in over 10 main story missions, primarily in the early chapters of the story. For this reason, it's remembered extremely fondly by most players. It also features an internet cafe, a gun store, a car wash, a pay and spray, as well as pool. Downtown Broker is filled with things to do, and as well as being generally pleasant aesthetically. I mean, it looks pretty solid, and that combined is why it comes in our top 3. Just beating out Downtown Broker, we have Firefly, which also contains Hove Beach and Beachgate. Firefly is absolutely jam-packed with content, and it is included in well over 20 missions in the main story. It features a clothing store, a diner, pay and spray, the cabaret club, as well as bowling. It also features the broker safe house, as well as Roman's apartment and the cab company before they were destroyed in the fire, obviously. It also features the amusement park and the pier at Firefly Beach. To the east, you'll find the gated community of Beachgate, which looks amazing and is home to many nice cars for you to steal. As you travel up, you get into the Firefly Projects, which is a rundown working class neighborhood based off Coney Island. It has a lot of charm to it and remains a very interesting and fun place to drive around. Aesthetically, Firefly feels like a completely different area due to its like beach town vibe that it has going on, which is why I always visit this area. Couple that with the sheer amount of things to do, it's clear to see why it deserves to be in our number 2 spot. And finally, the best district in GTA 4, I have to give it up to Uptown Algonquin, which is comprised of Purgatory, Star Junction, Hatton Gardens, Lancet, Westminster, the Meat Quarter, the Triangle, Easton, and President City. The area represents Times Square and the surrounding neighborhoods in its real-life counterpart. Notable locations include the car wash, pay and spray, Cluck and Bell, the comedy club, and bowling, as well as other side missions like dancing. By my count, there's only 9 main story missions to do here, but it more than makes up for that in its aesthetics. Since it's obviously based on Times Square, the area is filled with towering high-rises, bright lights, and neon signs that you just can't help but stare at while you're driving by. Ah, capitalism. A lot of people, including myself, will say that one of GTA 4's worst aspects are how bland and gray everything is. And that's the reason I love Uptown so much, because it's one of the few areas that just does not feel that way at all. The permanent construction does make it annoying to navigate through sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, but it just doesn't even matter because of how nice the general area is. And that's why it's more than deserving of our number 1 spot. And that's gonna wrap up today's video, guys. What do you guys think? And what would your list look like? Comment them down below, and while you're there, you might as well hit the like and subscribe button for more content like this. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Bye!